Morning, everybody. Call this meeting to order. First thing on the agenda, we have a new employee we'd like to introduce. Cook with HR.
Good morning. You're just gonna start off right up early with me, aren't you?
Right. And you do have a speech prepared, I think.
Yes.
Go ahead with the speech.
All kidding aside, it's a pleasure to be here. I look forward to contributing to the county. I'm excited to be here. But yes, my name is Colleen Cook. I joined the HR team last week. I'm a Fairfield County resident. Aside from attending Ohio State and living in Columbus during part of my 20s, I love Fairfield County and I live on the edge of the DDL district. So it's a joy to be here and a beautiful space. I can see Mount Pleasant from this building. So I'm excited to be here and to participate.
So, welcome, Fairfield County.
Yep.
I also have the honor of having His Honor Judge King with us today at the District Court of Appeals. And it's an honor to have you here. And if you'd like to tell us what's going on, that would be wonderful.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you, Commissioner. It is an honor to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to address everyone in the county. I'm on board in the county. So just to give by way a little bit of background, our Court of Appeals district covers 15 counties, and I'll show you the map here. And I thought it was this year I served as the administrative judge. I thought it was a good opportunity to come out and talk to all the counties and explain what's going on. We're having some significant changes coming up. So just an opportunity to share some information, take questions, and hopefully make this something of a recurring opportunity to come and share. Because I think as you mentioned, Commissioner, we don't often get down here. So something I'd like to change. So see if I can advance the slide here. So as you can see from the map is that there are 12 appellate districts. The 5th district, by the way, if you have any questions during this, I mean, it's a little bit more formal than some of the counties. I'm happy to take questions during it. I mean, it's not a presentation that is, that I can't take questions. So the Court of Appeals district is the second largest by county number, by land size, but it's also the most populous. So there are single county districts like Cuyahoga, Franklin, Hamilton County, but we have the most people, and therefore we also tend to have a very high number of cases per judge. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. So one of the things that you probably are aware of is that you are one of the funding authorities for the District Court of Appeals. So all 15 of our counties contribute to our operating budget on a pro capita basis. So for 2024, you can see it was $351,800, and that was apportioned. You believe you get like a bill from the county, Stark County auditor, and that's how that's all handled. So what, we run a pretty tight, fiscally responsible operation. Going into next year, talked about this a little bit more. We're going to have 3 new judges. So we're losing one judge of almost 36 years. Well, 36 years on our court. Another judge with 30 years of experience on our court. Another judge with 18. So it also, we're getting some more geographic diversity. I think as you all know, the growth in Ohio is in central Ohio. And Fairfield County, Licking County, and Delaware County are the southwest portion of the 5th district. And it's one that we see the most growth in. So we're also now seeing a shift in influence to those counties. So where it was 6 judges from Stark County, it was that way for 30, 40 years. At the start of February, we'll have 1 judge from Stark County and 5 from counties that bring Franklin County. So that's, I think, good from the standpoint of folks down here who have wanted judges that reflect the community down here. At one point, there was talk about breaking the 5th district into the 13th district 20 some years ago. So it's good, but it also brings with it some challenges. So, for example, Judge Montgomery is in Muskingum County, and we've been working with him to get some space where Judge Baldwin and I and Judge Montgomery can all share space together. So the point of telling you all that is the numbers may increase a little bit, but that's a function, I think, of we're having greater geographic diversity and therefore bringing in staff from other places and need office and resources to account for that. So just to kind of give you a sense of the overall scheme of the flow of cases, as you might imagine, trial courts are the busiest. That's where everything in Ohio starts, whether it's municipal court, county court, common police court. The appeals court there in the middle, I mean, for most folks, that's where it ends. You get one appeal and you don't like what happened there, you can ask the Supreme Court to review it, but it's discretionary, therefore they don't hear as many cases as we do.
Can I ask you a question, Jeff?
Sure, go right ahead.
How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Good. Appreciate you being with us. A long time ago, 25 years ago anyway, the 5th District had kind of distinguished itself with kind of a reputation on the issue of summary judgments. So if you were a trial court lawyer and you were talking to a trial judge in the 5th District, you would be hesitant to grant summary judgment motions because the 5th District didn't like them. And I know the rules and how different courts of appeals interpreted that, but I wondered if the 5th District is kind of still that way. In other words, very hesitant to approve, I guess, trial court summary judgment decisions.
I don't have any stats to back this up, but I would say not that I've seen in a couple of years that I've been on the court. I know I've been on cases where we affirm summary judgment, where we reverse summary judgment. So, one of the things that I think can influence it is that we do have 15 diverse counties. So Morgan County, population of 4,500, and then you got Stark County, population of almost 400,000. So the judges in Stark County have a lot of resources. They have magistrates and staff attorneys and whatnot. The judges in Morgan County are trying to do a criminal docket, a domestic relations docket, a civil docket. So, sometimes we get, and I try to be cognizant of this, in the smaller counties, we maybe don't get as thorough of an explanation as why they granted or didn't grant summary judgment. So, that may influence it, just that, we are trying to decide it, and we may not have, one of the judges in Delaware County will routinely write like a 20 or 30 page summary judgment decision, and we just don't get that from everywhere. So that could influence it, but I think as a general rule, I haven't seen it tilted one way or the other. But, if you have some reason to think otherwise, I'm happy to look at that. But
I don't currently. Thank you.
no, like I said, I'm happy to answer any questions as we go along. These slides are to share information, and you may know this information, maybe everyone in the audience doesn't. So they're kind of a little bit, I've changed the order as I've done this presentation. There's no perfect order. So if it seems a little bit like, why didn't you do this before? I've done these a couple of ways. So just to sort of talk about those 2.2 million cases, the way that Ohio breaks up its trial courts by and large is by subject matter. So municipal courts or county courts are going to handle the small claims, small civil issues, misdemeanors. Common pleas handles everything else at the trial level. You have your general division, tends to be your civil and felony, and then juvenile handles your abuse, neglect, dependency cases, your delinquency cases, occasionally some adults, probate, wills, trusts, estates, adoptions, things of that nature. Domestic division tends to be your divorces. And some counties have family court, which sort of blends the domestic and juvenile in a different way than you see other places. So again, we get all these cases. So as a court, we're hearing all these cases. Yes, Commissioner. So they all come to us, and we're not divided by subject matter like the. But this gives you a sense of how the cases are divided up, at least as of the last year. About half of our incoming cases are criminal cases. The domestic and probate accounts for a quarter. The civil number, I think, has gone up a little bit. We're getting back to about 20. And then the last little one is we do get administrative appeals. There was a change in the law where it used to be almost everything went to Franklin County. Now you have the opportunity to have more administrative appeals heard in your local common police court. Therefore, they come up to us and we get a few more of them. And then if you're familiar with like mandamus for public records requests, we get habeas corpus petitions and procedendo and other writ requests. And that makes up the last little bit of our caseload. So this gives you the overall picture of all the Court of Appeals. I think this is current as of last year. Supreme Court updates the data dashboard on a somewhat regular basis. So of the 7,800 appeals, if you go down to the column of the 5th district, you can see that we were 3rd last year with 824 appeals. Cuyahoga and Franklin County had the most. We have 6 judges, so again, per judge, we're busier. Cuyahoga has 12. Franklin, I think, has 10. So, we stay pretty busy. This drills down a little bit into the number I said there. And then what's of particular interest to you folks is what we saw from Fairfield County in 22 and 23. We did see an uptick in cases last year. I think I don't know for sure for Fairfield County this year. Overall, we've seen a significant uptick. I know we had a number of tax appeal type cases come out of Franklin County or Fairfield County and Delaware County. So I suspect this number is actually going to be up for this year. And to give you a sense of what these are, and again, this is all data I get report, is you see that the criminal cases for Fairfield County has been held pretty steady over the last 10-ish years. So, I mean, the things that can influence that are spikes in crime, also the way your prosecutor decides to charge things. But you can see it's been pretty consistent. I think when I've done these presentations, I think that's been pretty much what you see standardly. Like the criminal cases haven't fluctuated a whole lot. There's been a few counties where it's been down. Where I think you tend to see the biggest dip is in the civil cases, and that's pretty consistent across the district. They dropped during COVID, just haven't really recovered. I've been asked once or twice about why that is. I don't have any good data on that. I think, and I wanted to talk about this a little bit. There's a sort of a dearth of attorneys, especially in rural areas. So there's a lot of court-appointed work in criminal cases, but in civil cases, if you can't make money litigating the case, you're not going to take the case. It's on contingency or billing. So with less lawyers, I think we're seeing less civil cases, which probably means that there's less meritorious cases that are being brought. But I mean, that's just a guess. I don't have any data to back that up. So I just share this again to sort of talk about the attorney issue. As you can see here, here's the rates. We try to keep this pretty updated. So if it's wrong, let me know. But you can see, Fairfield County's leading a little bit below everyone else, but still sort of in there. And I think the commissioners know this. I mean, one of the indigent defense has been an issue in the state of Ohio, and I think when Keith Faber was Senate president, there was discussion about sort of off-booking that to the state and having that be a state expense. And I think right now a significant portion of the reimbursement is paid from the state. So, it's an ongoing problem that every county has. What the part of the reason I wanted to bring it up is what we're looking at as a court is to expand our appointment list, because we get situations where we need to appoint counsel. Typically, when there's been a change in counsel or somebody comes back and says, hey, my appellate attorney messed up, I want to sort of a do-over. So, we're looking at possibly expanding our list and doing a little bit more appointment in those situations rather than remand it back to the trial court, wait, and have that appointment done. So as we do that, I think that's an opportunity to potentially share that information and those attorneys with other other counties, and if they want to use our list, they're more than welcome to. And thought being that even though we have less attorneys and less attorneys willing to take cases, if we spread it over 15 counties, and the fact that the 5th district is slowly moving towards e-filing, we've talked to the clerks about that, and we do have remote oral arguments, that we may be able to get attorneys that can take cases from 3 counties over, where in the old days you'd have to drive and file and drive and show up in the oral argument. So that's sort of our hope, is that we might be able to leverage sort of our scale and our bigness to have some more attorneys. But again, like, I mean, the rural attorney is an issue that even the chief has talked about. There's an initiative that she has on that. And when I travel around and talk to common police judges and prosecutors, I mean, it's a real thing. I mean, we're seeing that problem everywhere in small rural counties. So, we're doing what we can to try to help. So just to talk about, part of this was to share information, but also talk about what's going on. Is that I talked a little bit about the budgeting and how we're probably going to see a modest increase, because now we're going to have multiple chambers in different counties rather than one centralized chamber in Stark County. You can see the trends have been sort of the drop during COVID and a steady climb back up. I think that we're going to see again sort of another jump back up, just based on the number of cases we've had here this year. So I think we're getting closer to the pre-COVID caseload. Again, the civil cases are lagging, which affects summary judgment type situations. And then just the last thing to share with folks is there's been sort of an off and on discussion about appellate redistricting. So just to share historical information, before 1884, the common police courts, the Supreme Court justice rode the circuit, and the common police courts would sit as a district and hear appeals. That all ended. We created the Court of Appeals for the state of Ohio. So the intermediate appellate courts were created at that point. 7 districts were then created by the legislature. So although the Constitution requires the courts of appeals exist, the legislature gets to set the geographic boundaries for each one of the district courts of appeals. As you imagine, as population grew, number of the districts changed. So the current composition of the 5th district sort of settled in around the 1920s and the 1930s. When the 8th and 9th were created, Wayne County went out of the 5th district and went into what is now the 9th. And Guernsey County jumped over from the 7th into the 5th. And that's where we have it today. So, what has sort of motivated this discussion? There's been a lot of things. I've sat in a couple of these meetings with the legislators, is, sort of a concern about the caseload, a concern about the geography, and a concern about the population change. I didn't put it in here, but I know a week or two ago there was that graphic about the population prediction for 2050. I think I saw everywhere, like every Chamber of Commerce, Business for everybody shared that. And again, what I said earlier, you see the growth in Central Ohio. Franklin County and the ring counties are seeing all the growth, and the rest of the state is seeing contraction, I think, except Hamilton and 1 or 2 other counties in its projection. So with knowing that, we have a certain number of judges and counties that are losing population and districts that are losing population, it may make sense to sort of look at how the districts are apportioned. So there was talk in 2022 of redistricting it. There was a draft bill done, and this sort of, the Cleveland Plain Dealer did a map of this. I don't think that this didn't gain any traction, didn't go anywhere, and I don't think a future map would look like this. But why I particularly want to share it with you folks is that you can see the 5th becomes very much like an I-70 type district on the eastern side instead of sort of the square that it is now. And Fairfield County would drop into the 5th or the 4th, I'm sorry, and become the most populous county of that district. And the southeastern Ohio. I work for one of the judges down there. It's a beautiful place, wonderful people, but it's hard to get anywhere fast. So there's we still travel around and hear cases. That sort of geographical configuration does make that difficult. So, when I've been asked about this, either by the members of the General Assembly or talked to commissioners or had conversations with other judges, again, it may make sense that it's something that should be looked at. I mean, we haven't had a change in the Court of Appeals district since the 12th was created, and I think that was the early 80s. So the general pattern has been is every time a district is created, they cannibalize one district to create a new district. There's not really been a overview and sort of a reassessment of what counties should belong where and maybe where there's common interest and whatnot. So again, maybe it makes sense with the population change. It's, the other comment that I've had is, and the commissioners that oversee courts, you can understand this, we're not like members of the GA, or you can change the boundaries on us and there's no infrastructure, there's no real impact other than where I get in the car and go to Lincoln dinner, right? Or I go and attend a meeting. For us, we have relationships with the judges. The clerks are our clerks. So when we change counties, that necessarily means we're changing clerks, and that may impact sort of how data is shared, how files are shared. We also have judges in certain counties. We also have staff in certain counties. We have offices and buildings in certain counties. So, one of the things that part of the reason I don't think this map was going to go anywhere is when they put this map together, Stark County and Honing County were going to be in the same district, and they both currently have our Court of Appeals office, and then the 7th district has a beautiful refurbished, I think, federal post office that they are out of, that the commissioners are in the process of buying, I think, over 30 years from the CIC. So, when you look at these things, there's real infrastructure sort of impediments to it. So, I share it with you to put it on your radar and then share with you what my thoughts are.
So, I recall when that map was proposed, then Fairfield being most populated at this. That's where the Court of Appeals would case from, I think, right?
Yeah, that is one of the statute provides sort of 3 ways, but what ends up happening generally in the state is the most populous county becomes the home of the county. So that means the commissioners become the contracting authority, the auditor becomes the auditor for the court, and the treasurer becomes the treasurer for the court. So there's things that come along with that may be good, may be bad, but you do have to sort of figure those out and think through. So that's sort of where we've been, where we're at, and where we're going. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions or address any of this.
One, just thank you for being with us today. Two, you're probably aware the legislature created a Indigent Defense Advisory Committee to kind of discuss and debate different possible solutions to indigent defense. We participated in that process. In Fairfield County, we spend about $11 per capita on indigent defense. And we have mid-30s in terms of vendors lined up to take those cases. Other counties, statewide average is $16 to $17 per capita. And then, of course, as you've mentioned, there are some rural counties that are struggling mightily to even provide indigent defense. So our point of view on that is from Fairfield County's standpoint is our system isn't broken at $11 with plenty of vendors and a good system that's working. There are some factions within state government, though, that want to break those systems that are working to take some of the money that's currently going there and then bring it over to systems that are failing. And it's a thing we get frustrated about a lot here. If you are good and fiscally responsible and you build your own jail, fine. If you're stupid and fiscally irresponsible and you can't build your jail, we'll build it for you. And they're kind of talking about that same kind of concept. Let's help out the people that can't do it and take money from the people, the governments that are doing it right to fund them, So we're kind of trying to battle that a little bit. Just wanted to kind of make you aware of that discussion point and argument that we're involved in.
No, I appreciate that. And I've been around, so I know the discussion about whether or not it should be a statewide defender's office, or whether or not they should be county contracts, or do what Delaware did and create their own defender's commission. A few other counties did that. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways to approach that, and I don't particularly have an opinion on that. Just to sort of emphasize or clarify. So when we're talking about doing appointments, it would still be sort of within the context of what Fairfield County has set for rates. So all we're really talking about, or I'm talking about, is to attract folks that, for example, if somebody from Stark County or even Summit County wanted to represent someone anywhere in the district, then they would be available to represent folks in Morgan County or Morrow County or wherever. So that's more the idea. And when they represent folks in that county, it would be according to the contracted rate, not any rate that we would talk about.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Andrew. You've come a long way. I'm proud to be a supporter of yours through the years, and just really thankful that you would come down and give us an update.
Happy to be here. Like I said, I hope to come back.
But again, thank you for being here, with your presence. No, don't need to stay, but if you'd like to, you're more than welcome. But I'm sure you have a very good schedule.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Judge.
So with us today, we have a couple folks who would like to join our regional planning commission. Melony and Rarick. Melony, you're here. So would you mind if you come down and introduce yourself? It'd be perfect. You tell us a little bit about yourself as well. And right here, please. That way the folks online can hear you as well.
Good morning. This is not intimidating at all. Just start with that. My name is Melony Rarick, and I have been a resident of Fairfield County my entire life. Was raised in Pickerington, went to Pickerington High School. My grandparents also are from Fairfield County and came to Lancaster when I married my husband back in 1995. And we have two sons. Our youngest is 16, our oldest is 34. And his wife is a teacher at Tarhee Trails. The reason that I applied for being on this planning commission is, as I'm getting older, I am very particular about the things that I spend my time on and that are important to me. And my heritage is extremely important to me. So the growth and the sustainability of Fairfield County is very important to me. I'm also right now board president of the Lighthouse Domestic Violence Shelter, and that is also something that's very important to me. So again, as I'm getting older, I'm being very deliberate about where I put my energy.
Yeah, you keep talking about getting older, and you're younger than all three of us. So
I don't know about that. You may think so.
Appreciate your service to the Lighthouse. Appreciate your willingness to serve as a volunteer in our regional planning commission. So growth is coming to Fairfield County. How do you feel about that? How do you feel it should be managed, and how do you see your role in regional planning and helping with that?
So growth is important for us to be sustainable, and all of those things we have to grow. I also have worked at Fairfield Medical Center for over 18 years. And as you all know, we are moving forward with perhaps a partnership with Ohio Health as well. So again, it's sometimes things like that aren't easy, but it's very important that we continue to grow. And I feel having a voice on the planning committee, from my perspective, would be beneficial.
So forgive me, because I've been doing this for a couple of years now, but we talk a lot about the need for density to preserve farmlands and protect the taxpayers. Where do you stand on the need for density?
I think it's very important that we protect the farmland. My grandparents were farmers in Pickerington. So that is part of my heritage. And I think there has to be a happy medium, I would say.
Again, I appreciate your willingness to serve.
Thank
I don't have questions. I just wanted to say thank you for your willingness to serve. We've known each other a long time, and I have a lot of respect for you and your husband, and just wanted to say thank you.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for your willingness to take on this challenge. But we also have with us Mike Wolfe. Mike, if you come down as well.
Good morning. I'm Mike Wolfe, fifth generation farmer here in Fairfield County. I've had the privilege of serving on quite a variety of committees over my years. I've been on the Walnut Township Zoning Committee for 18 years, served a couple stints on the Fairfield County Farm Bureau Board, served on the Fairfield County Soil and Water Board. Had an opportunity working with Holly when we redid our zoning book up in Walnut Township. A few years. And as far as we have several farms that are in the farmland preservation, so obviously that's very important to me. On the other hand, we've also bought ground that has development potential. You know, there's two sides to every story. I think of being on the regional planning, you got to listen to both sides and try to decide what's best for the community, maybe not what's best for the individual. I had a lot of discussions with Commissioner Fix over the past year. I think smart growth is very important for our county. I personally don't like 5-acre lots scattered throughout the county. I would like to see a little more planning, possibly developers having a little bit of a fee to help offset some of the expenses that come into the county so that current residents aren't saddled with all the expenses that the future growth is going to bring to the schools and community.
Yeah, Mike, thank you for your willingness to serve. You and I have had a chance to have some conversations with the Farm Bureau, and you were, I think, a pretty strong participant in the creation of our land use plan, economic development land use plan. Can you talk a little bit about how you feel that land use plan turned out, and is it, are you comfortable with that as the roadmap for the future of Fairfield County?
First of all, I'd like to thank the commissioners for taking the time to do that land use plan. I know you guys took a lot of heat along the way, but you also listened and made a lot of good changes. I think there's room for growth in the plan. Everybody has their opinions. Not everybody's going to agree on everything. Yeah, I think the plan is good the way it stands. There's always room for improvement, but it has come a long ways, and I appreciate all the time you guys spent on it.
Thank you. Thank you for your willingness to do this. It's a big deal.
Thank you for being with us today. Just curious, as you may know, I'm the commission's designee on the power siting board for the solar projects that are kind of going through the system there. And in that capacity as the commission's designee on the power siting board, I have not taken a position on either of the two projects that we expect to file. Have you taken a position on those projects?
I have not. I personally don't agree with the solar development in our county, but I also believe in personal property rights. So I'm not sure. I make a lot of neighbors mad at me. I'm not sure if the county should take a position against it or not. I'm not. I mean, there's, like I said, two sides to every story. I think there's better uses for that ground than that's being proposed for solar. I think there is a place for solar in our county. I'm just not real thrilled with where they're proposing it.
And I appreciate your response, and I know that's a difficult question that probably don't even want to be asked, but I asked it anyway because as a member of the Regional Planning Commission, you're going to be asked a lot of questions you don't want to answer.
Right.
And I appreciate your willingness to step into that position. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for your willingness to do that.
Thank you.
So we've reached the portion of our meeting where we allow public comment. If you wish to do so, please approach the podium, give your name and address, and you are limited to 3 minutes.
Good morning, Commissioner, and I'm actually thankful for the election results we have all over the country, but especially here in our own county locally. We need to keep their feet to the fire, those that have been elected. That's a term been used in the last few years. And we know that not everybody can agree 100%, but we want to look at it, what is best, maybe for the community, individuals, and everyone involved. It's a tough job. Some of the people have this year and so forth in this room, and the people that spoke, we pray that they will also take into consideration those things that are important. And right now, I would like to turn to prayer. Lord, as we come before you this morning, we have much to thank you for, because none of the polls showed any big turn like was taken in this election. And it was a big election. And it was a big turn. Now we have to go to work. Help us, Lord, as individuals to do what is best, that we turn to you for what needs to be done. We know that many times people do change their opinions when they get more information. So the information has to be right and correct, without personal desires and so forth. So help us make the right decisions. In those cases that are very controversial, we just say, Lord, help us, guide us, and direct us in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Frank. Who would like to be next? Anyone?
So can I make a comment? Do I need to step up there or should I sit here? So, we just had 2 interviews for our Regional Planning Commission. I just wanted to take a minute to talk about why that commission is so important. We talk about growth is coming to Fairfield County, and we're doing our best to help all the townships and villages prepare for it and, plan for it, manage it, take advantage of it, right? And none of that really works if our Regional Planning Commission isn't really strong. We're very fortunate here in Fairfield County that we've got Holly and Jen in leadership positions in our Regional Planning Commission. I was on a call last week with a former congressman who's got a big job with development in the state of Ohio, trying to figure out how to get around an issue that's going on in another county right around here, where the Regional Planning Commission will take up to 2.5 years to approve something. 2.5 years, right? We don't have that problem here, thankfully. And so, while other counties may struggle with getting ready for development. Other counties may struggle with moving people through the process in a reasonable amount of time. We're very fortunate that we don't have that issue. That's why these two positions we're appointing are so important. That's why the two ladies sitting here leading our regional planning commission are so important. So I just wanted to thank both of them publicly. And again, thank the folks who are interested in serving. It's a bigger deal than I think most anybody in Fairfield County realizes. It's a bigger deal than probably most of us realize, but just the fact that we're doing it so much better than others is really important. So thank you, all of you. Thanks.
Well said, Commissioner Fix. Anything on legal today? Okay. Administrative updates, Ani.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Last week, we were very happy to have the ribbon cutting for the Engineering Tech Lab. Been a while in the process of getting that up and running. We also had Senator Schaefer and Representatives LeRae and Miller join in that, and obviously we were able to speak, and Commissioner Fix joined us as well. But it was quite the culmination of a lot of work and effort on a number of people's parts to get that to fruition. So thanks, Rick, to you and your team, and John for spearheading the construction aspect of it. But it was a proud day for Fairfield County. You guys want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, about 70 people there and a lot of folks from the state, Office of Workforce Education and Development, Workforce Development, state officers were there. You know, it's still unique. Everybody still says it's one of a kind in Fairfield County. So I know there are others popping up. We have two higher ed institutions like this. Is still very unique. Thank you. Thanks to John for all the work with me and ready. Looking forward to, we have 22 students there, and our goal is to get up to more than 50. So a couple of years, check that.
So if I can ask this question, you know, talk about 22 engineering and tech students there with the high university. What do the students think? What have you heard about that facility? I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you talk to a 20-year-old, they're going to talk crazy. They're just like, yes, yeah.
Get that much out, you're doing good.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Very nice, thank you.
John, anything?
I'm just proud of Rick that that was the first time he get to use the scissors and he did it in one cut. So I felt like he deserves recognition.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids were reenacting that apparently. Melissa showed them the video. And this weekend, we're doing a ribbon cutting for my daughter's, she had a little new play area for them or something. So.
Nice. All right. We received word, Governor DeWine announced support for public workforce transportation, and ODOT awarded $17.5 million in funding to transit agencies in 16 counties through the Ohio Workforce Mobility Partnership Program. This funding supports 33 transit projects that increase the ease and efficiency of transporting residents to economically significant employment centers or places of employment outside their home communities. Fairfield County will receive $75,000 for a workforce connectivity plan. This plan will analyze current and projected workforce transportation needs, identify barriers and existing transit infrastructure, and develop strategies to improve inter-county transportation to business centers and other vital services. So this is awesome. This is great. This was in partnership with Higgs Partners, helping us to get this. But this is also definitely putting us on that path squarely, trying to make sure we are connecting transit with workers and getting them to where they need to be, and also making sure we're meeting the needs of the employers on that side. So this is a great first step to put us on that path. Rick, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, there are other things that we can spend this money on, but our take was let's first start with figuring out a plan and we'll keep doing it. So we'll be talking with employers, not just for their needs for locally, but a lot of them are hiring people from Southeast Ohio, Franklin County, you know, we some network to those workers to those options.
Thank you. I was distracted for a minute. I'm sorry. It's all right.
On the spot.
It's fun when we do that.
I was thinking about something completely different.
But you're excited about that grant, right?
I am.
Okay, good deal. The review packet does contain a list of administrative approvals, and there are 35 resolutions on the agenda for the regular voting meeting. Resolutions of note, a resolution to appoint Fairfield County Circuit Court's Brandon Myers to the Law Library Resources Board. Brandon will be filling the expired term of Michael Price, who had to resign his position there because he is now serving on our Veteran Service Commission.
When is Brandon's interview?
Would you like one scheduled? He's
No.
he's online today, I believe, if you wanna.
No, I want to thank him for his willingness to serve.
Brandon, you out there? I think Bennett's given you the ability to speak if you are.
It's fine. I was teasing.
Good morning, commissioners.
Morning, Brandon. Tell us why you want to serve on the library board.
Well, I think the law library board needs to do a better job of letting the public know that they exist, because they're not only supposed to support the attorneys and members of the bar, but they are there for the public. And, you know, it's right next to my office. They're on the first floor of the Hall of Justice, and it's hardly used. I think there's very few attorneys that go in there. The computers, there's 3 computer terminals in there that could be used by members of the public, you know, to print things off. So really, I don't really think they or anyone really knows what the purpose is and what they're there for. So I think we could do a better job with PR, letting people know what the purpose of the board is.
A really good answer, Brandon.
Okay, thank you.
Brandon, I have no questions.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your willingness to serve, Brandon.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on. We also have a resolution to vacate a portion of McCullough Road in Rush Creek Township. The Rush Creek Township trustees petitioned for this vacation, and we had the hearing last Tuesday. Resolution approving the type 2 annexation of 22.08 acres from Greenfield Township to the city of Lancaster is on for your review today. Agent for the petitioner is Jill Tangeman. Is Jill here with us today? Hi, Jill.
We want to give them an opportunity to speak if they'd like to on this topic.
And if you'd like.
You.
Yes. And so the roadway agreement.
Election house, that's part of that resolution, correct?
We did it combined.
Morning, Commissioners. Thank you. Jill Tangeman, Board Stater Seymour and Pease. I'm the agent for the petitioner under the annexation. This is a type 2 annexation where we kind of check the boxes of the requirements that were 5% contiguous and that we neighbor the municipality. We've served all the required notices. We are excited to bring this property into Lancaster. I think it will provide needed housing. We've negotiated a pre-annexation agreement for this site that identifies zoning and other development issues. And we look forward to being part of Lancaster for this project. Be happy to answer any questions.
I know that you and Mr. Thomas, and Mr. Gill have been working for a while on this one and gone through some hoops to make it happen. So we're appreciative of your willingness to bring affordable housing and workforce housing to Fairfield County. So thank you for all the efforts.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
And as Amy was pointing out there, the resolution before you today does also contain the road maintenance agreement that was worked on between the engineer's office, prosecutor's office, and the city of Lancaster law director's office. So appreciate everyone's work to do that rather quickly and get that before us today as well. The auditor's office has a resolution to approve an agreement with Perry and Associates CPA for auditing services, and this would be an audit for fiscal year 2024. Auditor Brown, anything?
Yes, we participated in the RFP process with the state. This will be, I believe, the first contract that Fairfield County has that is a minority owned business relating to the MBE edge of the state. We sometimes get surveys about that. Just like to highlight that today.
Okay, thank you. We also have a resolution from DD to approve a memo expense memo receipt for the cost of the Ford Transit that's being purchased for transit. So I know we were happy to get that vehicle in and added to the fleet. Dr. Old did step out. Do you have anything, Rick, on that?
No, I just wanted to thank DD for their partnership. Team and everybody for helping get this procured. And I need to get another vehicle.
Awesome, thank you. We have a resolution for a change order with Garland/DBS for the roof of the Government Services Building. This change order is to extend the completion date. John?
Just anticipating that we'll be doing that roof in the spring. Hope for weather this year. Trying to quickly.
Okay, thank you. The Family and Children First have 4 resolutions for advance repayment extensions and a partial advance repayment. I don't think Tiffany or Heather are here today. JFS also has a resolution for a partial advance repayment and several network service agreements for child placements. Juvenile Probate Court has a resolution to approve a contract for centralized truancy-based software from the Fairfield County Educational Service Center. This is an agreement that will allow the final expenditure of ARP funds that had been set forth for the truancy project. Bart, do you have anything on that?
We just
Get it done. Okay, thank you. And then lastly, Major Crimes has 2 resolutions related to advances, one to extend a repayment date, and the other 2 to approve a repayment. Any budget update, Bart?
Just a reminder to non-general fund departments that level 4 budget entry access will end at noon on December 2nd. And we are not aware of any issues or concerns at this time.
All right, thank you very much. Rochelle, calendar review and invitations received, please.
Thank you. Bremen is holding a land use plan meeting today at 6 p.m. at their village office in Bremen. There's a 911 committee meeting scheduled for November 14th at 6 p.m. in the sheriff's training room. The commissioner's schedule will be updated today to reflect this item. The Workforce Center is hosting the Hocking College Strategy Alignment Advance meeting on November 15th at 9 a.m. MCJDC rescheduled their joint board of commissioners meeting to November 15th at 10:30 a.m. This will be held at the MCJDC facility. An invitation was received for the Fairfield County Foundation's Ambassadors Donors Reception. This will be on December 4th from 5:30 to 8 at the Mill Event Center located at 431 South Columbus Street. The Fairfield County Economic Update will be on December 13th at 8:30 a.m. at the Workforce Center. The Eastland Career Center has invited the commissioners to their Skills USA competition on December 17th. They have 2 sessions, 8:30 to 11 a.m. and noon to 2 p.m. There will be many bright Fairfield students participating in these skill events. Dr. Brown has provided a memo regarding year-end schedules, payroll schedules, abstracts, revenue estimates, enterprise resource planning, and the internal control manual. She has also provided her wins of the week and a map of downtown Lancaster restaurants. The community liaison for the Ohio Power Siting Board provided an email with the following dates regarding the Eastern Cottontail Solar Project. There will be a public hearing at the Pleasantville Elementary School located at 300 West Columbus Street in Pleasantville on January 27th at 5 p.m. An evidentiary hearing is scheduled for March 4th at 10 a.m. at the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio located at 180 East Broad Street in Columbus. The hearing will last until 5 p.m. and can last several days. A date for the board to vote on the meeting has not yet been set. However, according to the email, it will likely occur several months after that hearing. The packet contains additional correspondence regarding industrial solar projects, correspondence from the USDA regarding emergency conservation programs, the Fairfield County Municipal Court's October Criminal Traffic Division Report, and Job and Family Services e-link fall newsletter. That's it.
Great, thank you, Rochelle. That's all, Commissioner.
Sure, Davis, any old business?
Yeah, I guess I just want to mention something from a historical perspective. If you go back to the middle to late 90s in Fairfield County, planning and development was very challenging back at that time in the county. the city of Lancaster's engineer at that time, city engineer was Kent Houston, who had developed the nickname Kent Houston. Because it just said no to everything. And the relationship between the city and the county was strained. We were actually in litigation with each other on a number of issues back in the day. So there just wasn't a lot of collaboration or cooperation or people like Commissioner Fix to lead efforts to do a better job on planning. But I just wanted to say to the folks that are willing to join our regional planning and to all of our team, really, it's thrilling to me to have been there 30 years ago when things were so broken to today where they're less broken. So thank you all for that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, so, excuse me, last week, had a chance to attend the roundtable and, really, excited about the refresh of the strategic plan that, Dr. Brown and the commission put together a few years ago. Putting a new face on that and, extending it out for the next 4 or 5 years is, a big deal. It's important to the county. It sets the course for where we're going to go, and, just really appreciated everybody's participation in that. Did have a chance to go to the engineering tech ribbon cutting, and really proud of the leadership that Rick is providing with the Workforce Development Center. That is a shining star in the state of Ohio, and we have Rick to thank for it. John, thank you for all your work in getting it up and running, but really appreciate our whole team. I know everybody's involved, but Rick, appreciate your leadership there. The next morning, had a chance to attend an event where Commissioner Levacy was sworn into, no, that's not the right word. Inducted into the State of Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame. And it was just really, a proud moment, I think, for all of us as Fairfield County residents, but Dave's a good friend and probably the best man I know. And for him to get that honor, sorry, Steve, for him to get that honor was a big deal, and I'm really proud of him, and he deserves all of our gratitude for all his service to Fairfield County and the state. So that was really cool. Then got to work on the CCAO platform for the next 2 years in a 2-hour online session. We have a board meeting this afternoon for CCAO. Tonight, I get to go to Bremen to talk about their hopes and dreams for land use. We've got a ODOT meeting tomorrow with interested parties to talk about the Pickerington Road interchange and what we're trying to get done there. Meeting with the Department of Development and folks from RTID later in the week to talk about the 3370 connector and working with Licking County, MCJDC on Friday. And I think this Thursday night, we get to go to Fairfield Union to celebrate their cross-country team state championship. So it's a busy week, but a good week.
So last week, I also was at the ribbon cutting for the engineering and tech lab at the Workforce Center. I think what's so especially cool about this is we're now really seeing with the addition of that. I mean, that is really, I know that's a vision that Rick's had. So congratulations on all your work, Rick. You know, we get to be there and appreciate it that you and John and others do all the hard work. Thank you. Also, yesterday, I was also at Fairfield Union, and yesterday was Veterans Day, and anybody knows the history of Veterans Day. It started after World War I, called it Armistice Day, and that's a Latin derivative from a Latin word meaning arms standing still. In other words, nobody's using the arms, and then it eventually evolved into various things. They tried to combine several different holidays into one. That didn't work out. And then later on, I think in the 50s, it was named Veterans Day. And what was really neat about that, they had the whole senior club, the whole pre-senior class in an assembly. Their choir sang "God Bless America." Some of the young speakers, many of the family members who had family members who were veterans or in the military, they individually presented them with little gifts. But it was so neat to see these young people involved in talking about what Veterans Day actually means. And I was able to speak, and I was just honored to be there. And I also mentioned their cross country class and asked them to stand and recognize them. So they're going to be double recognized. And it was just an honor to be there. Okay. Lisa.
Hi there.
Hi.
Not anything really going on. Hired a new employee, so I'm working with her to get her trained to replace our retiring employee. And getting ready to go to the Higher Court Association meetings next week.
Congratulations on your reelection.
It's a hard fought battle.
It was.
You got more votes than I did. Again,
Did you come in last?
I came in last.
Many people think Commissioner Davis and I are voting to vote for one or the other, so it's a little confusing voting for commissioners.
That's good.
But still, every time you get more votes than I do. Somehow they figure it out, Dave.
As long as I got one vote, that's all I care.
We still love you.
Jeremiah, anything? I bet there's nothing going on at the engineer's office.
Well, again, we're moving along on the salt barn. We're ready to start putting up the steel hoop frame. We've got our concrete contractors have all the rebar for the slab, the flooring laid out. It's coming into its kind of its last stage here. We're ready to go. So we're excited about that. Otherwise, I guess we're thankful that the weather's holding out. That helps us get all our projects wrapped up a little more timely. We don't have to deal with rain and cold temperatures right now. Cold temperatures make it hard for us to asphalt and things like that. So that's what's going on.
Congratulations on your reelection also.
Appreciate it. It was some time.
I actually saw a salt barn with that configuration the other day. It's pretty interesting. Dr. Brown.
Morning. It's a pleasure to see Colleen here today. I believe that she is going to be a tremendous asset to the Human Resources Department. She has a wonderful work ethic, and I've known her for a number of years. So I'm very excited about her service in Fairfield County. I want to say thank you to all the elected officials and department heads as we head into a season of gratitude. I really do appreciate working with all of you in terms of the work ethic, the dedication, the cooperation, collaboration that's observed every day. As an example, the round table, it was thrilling to see the room abuzz talking about strategic themes. Those kinds of things are very encouraging. We do have a new map of the month. It is a special request from the court. They wanted to have a map of downtown restaurants so they could hand it out to jurors so that they would know all of their options within walking distance. Get a couple of copies because other people have said that they'd like that for various meetings that they have around town as well. DDL is also going to be using this map for various public relations purposes. Our internal control manual has been updated for 2024. The focus is on vendor redirects and other control procedures that we've talked about here in this setting, as well as separation of duties and other procedures. Our enterprise resource planning system is updated. It is up to date before year end. We're very happy about that. Thank you to Tony and Utilities. We're going to be hosting some training there this week. And special thanks to Bev Hoskinson and Jen Dickerson for their extra efforts in making sure that is accomplished before the end of the year. Enterprise assessment and tax has also been updated. And thank you to Noel, Josh, and Dave as they have really worked hard with a group of stakeholders to make that happen. I'm working with 2 different networking groups on artificial intelligence across the nation. Really, I am enthralled with this topic. Would be very supportive if there was a group within Fairfield County of multidisciplines that would look at AI governance and AI policy. Would highly support that. This week is the County Auditors Association of Ohio conference. I will be heading there, conducting 2 sessions on strategic planning and on expanding your mindset for leadership.
Amy, I always feel like I should ask you a question. Anything going on in the prosecutor's office?
Same old, but I did want to kind of highlight something briefly. I don't know if you all saw the dispatch the end of last week about Delaware County. There's a written mandamus filed by their county treasurer against their prosecutor's office and their county commissioners regarding legal opinion issued by the prosecutor's office. And I thought it would be a good time to highlight, obviously we represent everybody, most of these people, most everybody sitting up there and obviously across the county. We stay out of trouble with that because we do request joint request if we have clients in conflict before we issue the opinion. And I always think I thought it'd be just kind of a good time to remind everybody if we think there's a opinion, or there might be some controversy, that's why we ask for the joint request. So just so you all understand, and instead of avoiding it up with the Ohio Supreme Court. So that's all I have for that.
I think it's also important to point out that all of our elected officials here find a way to work together before they go to court, which isn't true in a lot of counties. So continue to appreciate the working relationships we have.
Absolutely, yes. That's one thing I love about Fairfield County. If we have differences, we figure it out. I mean, my goodness, it's not good press. Tell me anything.
I just want to thank the engineer's office. They we're trying to use it so we can get our parking lots.
Anything else, Greg?
Yes, real quick, so one of the highlights last Wednesday's ribbon cutting was individual named Jonah. Jonah was one of the first students. There's a Lancaster High School student that came through in a ready to work manufacturing program. And he's graduating from Hopkins College right now. And he was there on Wednesday demonstrating how to use the equipment to people. So it was just really cool to see that come full circle. He's got a bunch of job interviews coming up as he finishes.
So I actually met him, but I didn't realize that that was the case.
Yeah. I was giving a tour to folks from the state and I couldn't, this was like 4 or 5 years ago. And he came in to help show them how to use the robotics equipment. That was the last time anybody let me use the robotics.
So I was back there with my wife Ann, and I tried to explain to her we could take one of these robots and actually do your cookies.
No, you cannot. That is one thing AI will never replace.
It was kind of funny. I think she thought I was serious. And John, anything? Dan, anything?
The IT department grew by 1. Xavier from our service desk team had a baby. I think it was Saturday. There was some midnights there, but mom and baby are both healthy, so we're excited for that.
Great. I saw what you're doing for Christmas for those who were less fortunate. I'm always very appreciative of folks in protective service at JFS, the willingness to do that, because that's not part of your job description. So if you'd like to mention that, because again, that's all with donated funds.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an undertaking. And this time of year, we start taking those donations for both children and elderly. Otherwise receiving things for Christmas. So, it's one of the projects that we worked on throughout the year that I think has the biggest impact. We get so many donations from so many people and businesses in the community. It's really neat to see that outpouring.
So are you seeing the donations that you need?
So far, so good. We're still pretty early in the process, and a lot of times it kind of comes in heavy at the end.
I think if he was informed,
I absolutely.
please. Please rise if you're able and join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Michelle, any announcements?
Just that we have an upcoming evening meeting on November 19th. We will be meeting at 7 PM in Pleasant Township.
So moved.
Second.
And roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes. Approval of roundtable minutes for November 5th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Both minutes pass 3-0. From the Commissioners, Resolution 2024-11.12.a. A resolution approving the appointment of Mr. Brandon Meyer to the Fairfield County Law Library Resources Board.
For Commissioners, I move items A, B, C, D, E, F, and G.
Second.
Discussion.
Brandon's appointment will be effective today and will expire December 31st, 2028.
Additional discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County IMH Board. Resolution 2024-11.12.h. A resolution approving account-to-account transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Since we have the Adam Board here, really that has nothing to do with it, but I'm very happy to see that the Adam Board levy passed. The numbers it did. Any additional discussion? Call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Auditor, Finance. Resolution 2024-11.12.i. A resolution authorizing the approval of a memorandum of agreement between Ohio Auditor of State, Fairfield County, and Perry and Associates CPAs for audit services to express an opinion of the fair presentation of Fairfield County's financial statement in conformity with the financial reporting framework and the preparation of the county schedule of federal expenditures. Report for the period of 1/1/24 through 12/31/28.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
This group is going to begin its work in 24. So that is a bit different than what we've seen with the state auditor's office, who usually begins in 20, the ensuing year. They will be here auditing for the periods through 12/31/2028.
Additional discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Resolution 2024-11.12.j. A resolution to approve a memo receipt for the cost of Ford Transit X2C paid to Lancaster Fairfield Public Transit as a memo expenditure for Fund 2060.
For Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, I move items J and K.
Second.
Discussion.
The funding for the vehicle for transit was ARP money that had gone to DD, and they were being very helpful in getting it out to the community to benefit transit as well.
So pass on to Dr. Wool our appreciation. Additional discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Economic and Workforce Development, Resolution 2024-11.12.l. A resolution to approve to appropriate from unappropriated into a major expense category for Fund 7831 WIOA 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Engineer, Resolution 2024-11.12.m. A resolution to appropriate from unappropriated in a major expenditure object category, County Engineer 2024 motor vehicle for materials and supplies.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. For Fairfield County Facilities, Resolution 2024-11.12.n, a resolution for approval of change order number 1 to the contract between the Garland DBS and the Fairfield County Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. For Fairfield County Family and Children First Council, Resolution 2024-11.12.o, a resolution authorizing the approval to extend the repayment date of an advance of funds Fund 7521, Subfund 8307, Ohio Children Trust Fund Multi-System Youth Grant.
For Fairfield County Family and Children First, I move items O, P, Q, and R.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Fairfield County Job and Family Services, Resolution 2024-11.12.s, a resolution authorizing the approval of partial repayment and extension of an advance to the general fund, Fund 2072, Public Children's Services, Subfund 8182, Epic Grant.
Under Job and Family Services, I move items S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, A, A, B, B, C, C, and D, D.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. For Fairfield County Juvenile Probate Court, Resolution 2024-11.12.e.e. A resolution to approve a contract by and between Fairfield County Board of Commissioners and Fairfield County Educational Service Center.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Sheriff, Resolution 2024-11.12.ff. A resolution approving an account-to-account transfer into a major expenditure object category, Fund 1001.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From South Central Major Crimes Unit, Resolution 2024-11.12.g.g. A resolution authorizing the approval to extend the due date for repayments of advance for MCU Fund 7864.
For South Central Major Crimes, I move items G, G, and H, H.
Second.
Discussion.
Christie and her continuing endeavors to work on submitting items to receive reimbursement from the grants. Believes we will be able to take care of these outstanding advances, but just need to push back the date a bit. First one there is May 1st, 2025 is what we're pushing that back to.
Additional discussion. Roll call please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Payment of bills, Resolution 2024-11.12.ii. A resolution authorizing the approval of payment of invoices for departments that need Board of Commissioners approval.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey? The next regular meeting is scheduled for next week, Tuesday, July 19th at 7 p.m. I'm sorry, November. November 19th at 7 p.m. in Pleasantville, Pleasant Township.
So at 10:30, we have a budget hearing follow-up to the Board of Elections. Come before that, we'll be just.
So I got a text from Jane that Mr. Oatney, who is planning to attend, is at the hospital. So he won't be able to join us. Yeah, they will be here.
All right, so won't be in recess until we have approximately 10:40.